a lot of buzz online right now about the latest article that Taylor Lorenz put out through Wired about the dark money group that is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. I really wasn't going to talk about this too much. Taylor breaks it all down. There's people from influencers or journalists that I like Jessica Burbank, who's having a heated debate with Taylor, and really seems like it's getting personal between the two. I don't know, have a dog in that fight. I've seen Good Trouble talk about this. I've seen influencers that are named in this or assumed to be named in this kind of defending it. But there's one specific person that was named in this article that I want to share a little bit of his video and why it's so missing the point in all of this.
Is that the idea behind this group is exactly what I've been advocating for years. For years I've been saying the left needs to organize independent media in the way that the right has been doing. The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections because they're organized with regard to online and independent media.
All right, so David Pakman, for everyone that might not remember, is back. The last thing he said about Gaza and about foreign policy, really in any meaningful way, was talking about that Israel would never bomb a hospital, kind of praising the Biden administration for their steps and being the best possible on the situation of the genocide unfolding in Gaza by the Israeli government with our own tax dollars. And then kind of after there's a lot of blowback from other content creators and things of that nature, he basically stopped talking about it and lost a lot of fan base and everything in between. But right here, what I want to address is everyone kind of defending this, saying things like we need to fight fire with fire, or, there's so much dark money being poured in. We talk about the Russian tenant money going to Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, all these different people. We need to do the same thing. And it's kind of missing the entire different structure and influence between the right wing connected to the Republican Party and the left wing being connected to the Democratic Party, because the right wing, by and large, coalesce together on the talking points and messaging of the Republican Party, whether it's trans issues and being vehemently transphobic, whether it's going against immigration and supporting ICE detaining people and putting them in concentration camps, whether it's mass slaughter on foreign policy, everything in between, shooting down any protest, any social movement, etc. And that's aligned with the Republican Party. So they're all this large apparatus that is all about maintaining the status quo with different veneers, a little bit of disagreement, but all coalescing on these very reactionary, problematic, violent issues. The difference is that the Democratic Party and those funding these things are not in line with the progressive left movement. So when you're taking money from these things, you are not aligned with where a lot of leftist people or the audience that would be socialist, progressive left, etc. is. There is a complete divide. The right wing hands meat to its base. The Democratic Party shits on its base. And all these people that are defending this, it's very telling that for the most part, they do not talk about the real issues. What they do is shit on right-wing stuff or kind of talk about the need to support any fight against Trump and all these different things, which are all good. But when you're not talking about reforming the system and calling out your own party, the liberal space of, using the correct words in some, consultant vetted way, and just talking about basic liberal things while avoiding things like talking about Gaza, avoiding things like universal health care and shitting on that and throwing that away, or just not holding people to power to account, and instead just kind of being a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, it rings extremely hollow. And some of these people, first of all, why is there an American Girl doll politically based influencer? Why is there a Regina George liberal? Why is Olivia Juliana as a young person saying things like, I love Alyssa Slotkin, she's one of my favorite Democrats? And, people see through this shit. And it's also not aligned with a left-wing movement that wants to truly stop what's going on. And part of that is to blame with the Democrats. We were led here. These people that get paid $8,000 a month or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the specifics. Read the article yourself. Hear the responses from other people. But the statement from David Pakman shows that these people are really just trying to hopefully gaslight people to not understanding the different dynamics between the right and the left. The right, again, coalesces on the major party. The Democratic Party shits on the beliefs of many people in left-wing spaces who do the groundwork, who actually care about policy and not just about clapbacks and social media influence and messaging. This is why you haven't seen a lot of these people support Zoran Mamdani. This is why you haven't seen a lot of these people continue to try to support Palestinians. Even people that initially spoke out about this, you'll see that they haven't spoken about it in over a year. I wonder why that is. Is it because they suddenly don't care, it's a lost cause, or they've just suddenly become desensitized to the most violent acts we've ever seen live streamed to our phones and to our TVs? Or is it that they're receiving money and being given strict stipulations on what kind of content they can create? You can't fight fire with fire against right-wing money, right-wing influence, when the dichotomy between the right-wing space and the left-wing space is completely different. You're not going to have billionaires and dark money interests support real progressive movements because they are in stark contrast to their worldview, to their bottom line, and overall to what they want to accomplish. What they want to accomplish is a cooler, newer veneer for the same old, tired Democratic talking points that have got us to this place where the right has taken over everything. And so with that, that shows how disingenuous this stuff is, or how out of touch these influencers are, that this is how they will defend their friends or themselves taking money while not disclosing it, not being allowed to disclose it, and censoring themselves on what they can put out to their audience.